Anyways, better throw this out. Because that's rude to have gum in your mouth when you're talking to people. Hi everyone, I'm April, and you're watching the Tangled Cat Speaks. It's Sunday, October 7th, 2018, and I always forget to tell y'all where I'm from. I am from Rio Rancho, New Mexico, which is just a little north and a little west of Albuquerque, New Mexico, southwestern part of the United States. So that's where I'm from. It's a little overcast today, cloudy. It's not rainy, it's windy like crazy, but I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it wants to rain. It rained a little bit a couple days ago. I really do hope it does rain. We need some more, but I love a rainy day. Definitely October is in full swing. It's gonna be one of those years where, you know, if you're going home trick-or-treating, I hope you're wearing a warm costume because it's gonna be cold by the time Halloween comes around. Speaking of trick-or-treating, the one thing that I have always stolen from my children's Easter Halloween bags was the gum. I absolutely adore the double bubble gums that you usually only see it around Halloween. I don't know if I don't think about it during the rest of the year, but every now and then I do crave bubble gum, and that's what I want, is that double bubble. You know, you chew it for 5 minutes and then it has no more flavor, and then you got to throw it out because it's like tough to chew. But I love it. I don't know. It's just such a nostalgic thing for me, and I love double bubble. So the other day I was wandering through the dollar store and I found some. So I got 2 big old bags of double bubble. These are not to be giving out to trick-or-treaters. This is for me. Don't tell my kids that I bought 2 bags because they will snag it all. I hid 1 bag, and they've already gotten their little paws into this one, which I don't mind sharing, but geez, my craving. So, yay. I love these things. I love it. And it always comes around October and I'm like, yay, double bubble. I know. Anyways, so I talked last time about starting the Agatha Christie book, The Labors of Hercules, and that I didn't have the actual book itself, but the book is basically several stories, short stories, put into one book, and these short stories were also contained into this really huge compilation of Agatha Christie's Hercule Poirot short stories. So I have read 2 of them. I'm almost done with the 3rd. And being that it's The Labors of Hercules, I think there are 12 stories. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There are 12 Labors of Hercules. And I've already done the Nemean Lion and the Lernean Hydra. I am now almost done with the Arcadian Deer. Love him so much. I love Hercule Poirot so much. He's just so, I don't even know. He's just so arrogant. He uses his little gray cells, and he's not ashamed to say that he's better than everybody else, and it just cracks me up. One of the things that I really found interesting in this one that I'm reading now, The Arcadian Deer, is the way that he describes somebody that has come into his office or whatever to ask for his detecting services. Now he is very old school. He thinks that women should be dressed nicely. They should have just a little bit of, you know, makeup. They should be very prim and proper and always dressed nicely. He doesn't, you know, like when the era starts changing and shifting and everybody, the girls are starting to wear their hair down more and they're starting to show more leg and stuff like that. It's just really hilarious to see how prudish he is about that. But the thing that I found interesting about this one is there's a man that comes into his office in this story, The Arcadian Deer, and he just describes him as being a very handsome man, you know, basically godlike in his appearance. And, you know, it's just funny to me. I didn't remember that he was that descriptive. And when I say he, it's actually Agatha Christie, but anyway, he was very descriptive about this particular man. And I'm assuming it's because, you know, he's likening this athletically, I can't think of what I'm trying to say, this really good specimen of a human being. He's likening that to this Arcadian deer that Hercules had to take down in the labors of Hercules. So it was just funny to me how descriptive he was about this stranger's physique and facial features and how handsome and athletic he was. So it's just funny. I don't know why that caught my attention and why I bothered mentioning it. I might cut this out because I'm rambling. But anyway, so I am almost done with the third book, or the third short story in the book. Yeah, let's move on to something else because I feel like I'm rambling and I feel like I sound very silly. So let's go into some new things. I had to buy some stuff from Three Irish Girls. I was looking for something with a goldish color and a purple. That's what I initially wanted. So that's what I found. I went to Three Irish Girls and I found this beautiful purple on their Adorn base. And I'm sorry, my color is off because of the lighting I had to use. But it's this really dark royal purple. This one is called I Want to Be Your Lover. And then I found this one and it's called Toes in the Sand. And you know me, I'm not a big yellow person. Whoa! That's so terrible of me, it really is. If this was more gold than, you know, pastel yellow, and together, oh my god, it's so pretty. It's so beautiful. But while I was there, I had to keep looking at all the colors because, you know, browsing is wonderful. But it's also very dangerous because I ended up grabbing this one. This one is called Fern Frond. I love it. And then I got, because already my mind was spinning, my wheels were turning, and I just was like, I'm going to make something with all of these colors, and I needed more of a neutral color. So I went ahead and I got their Au Naturel, which is just basically an undyed skein. So these are all on their Adorn base, which is a fingering weight, and it's 85% merino, 15% nylon. But look at them together. Look at that. Oh, tag, you're in my way. You're messing me up. Look at those. I love them. And I don't remember the name of the shawl that I'm planning on making, but I will put it here along with a picture of what it's supposed to look like, and the color, and these are the colors that I'm going to use in it. But I was so excited, especially these two. Just these two just make me so happy together. Individually, I could do without the yellow goldish color, but together I love them, and it just looks like spring to me. Even though we're heading into late fall, I guess it could be fall colors, but I love them. I'm happy. So I got that. Something else that I got was from Pandy's Jewels. Don't worry, I didn't go too crazy because it just went crazy at 3 Irish Girls. But I did have to get a mini. This is also a fingering weight, and it's her Sparkle Mini, which is 75% merino, 20% nylon, and 5% stellina. And this is the Elder Tree colorway. And I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I had to have it. I don't know that I want to hide all the sparkle in some toes and heels, but maybe some cuffs. I don't know. Or maybe I'll do some, I don't know, find some other yarns and do some fingerless mitts or something, but I had to have it. The other thing that I got from Pandia's is missing right now. Of course it's missing. Oh, this is my life. I tried to be organized this time, guys. I tried. I have everything here, but the one thing, oh, there it is. The one thing that I needed is not here. I ended up actually getting 4 of these because I love them. And she calls them zipper pulls. Look at her little doodle girls. I love these doodle girls. And never mind my nails. I was dyeing yarn again and I stained a couple of my nails. Anyways, I love her little doodle girls, but I got this zipper pull. It's a Celtic kind of heart design. And they're very, very lightweight. And I don't think I'm going to be using them as zipper pulls. I'm going to use them, because I got 4. I think I'm going to use them as progress keepers. Actually, I don't think, I know, because I've already started using them on something. And I'll show that in a minute. But she also included one of her pins, and I believe I've gotten this one from her before. She draws these also, just like she draws the doodle girls. Very cute. Cute, cute. So that's what I got from Pandia's Jewels. So I mentioned, because, you know, I have like 4 nails that are stained because I decided to try dyeing with the black Jacquard acid dyes that I had bought a while back. It was very bad, and I didn't use gloves the entire time, so I got a little bit stained. But I'm going to start showing some photos along with what I'm showing you so that you can see what the yarns look like before and after, because these were all over dyes. I just really, really wanted to see what this black would do with some yarns that either I've already used and I had a whole bunch left over and I wanted to try making it into something else, or yarns that I've just had sitting there and haven't used because I really don't like them anymore color-wise. So let's start with one of the ones that I didn't really like. And like I said, I'll put a before and after photo here. Because my lighting, I already knew it was going to be bad, so I went ahead and did that ahead of time. But this was the first one I did, and it looks in this lighting almost like a solid black, but really it's, I don't know if you can see the greens that are in there. It'll look better on the photo. This was some yarn called Fibra Natura in the Yummy base, and I believe that this colorway was called Lagoon. I showed you this same yarn base a few episodes ago when I had a blue one, and it was called Celestial, and I had broken that up into several minis, and I overdyed those minis with each with a different food coloring. So this is the same base, just a different colorway of that yarn, and it's basically like I can't even describe it. It's like, it's not really foresty green. I just keep having the word swampy green in my head. I bought it and I kind of liked it at the time, but it's been literally sitting around for at least 8 years, just sitting around because I didn't like it. But over dyeing it in the black, and I knew I didn't want to completely saturate it in black, but I really wanted a heavy glaze and I wanted some of the green to show through, and it really did. I am super in love with this yarn now. I'm incredibly happy with this yarn, and I can't wait to make something with it now. So happy. I had just recently, in my last episode, I believe it was my last episode, I showed you the socks that I had done by Joji Locatelli, the 2-color socks, and one of the colorways that I had used was the one that has really long colorway name, Eyes Bright, Chins Up, Smiles On. It was a Nerd Girl yarn on their Bounce and Stomp base, and it was a pale gray and a pale mint green variegated yarn, and I loved it, loved it. And actually, from after I finished the socks, I went ahead and took off 22 grams, wound that up into a ball and put it aside, because there's a there's a shawl that I want to do sometime in the future by Amy Vandelar called Dyer's Delight, and I already knew that I wanted to use that yarn in it, and there's several sections of chevrons. I don't know how they're attached exactly, but anyway, so you need 5 different variegated yarns, 22 grams each. So I went ahead and wound off 22 grams, set those aside, and then I overdyed the rest. So this is what I've got, and I should have actually kept at least 5 grams to put into my memory blanket, but I didn't think about it, so there's that. But so what I did was I got the rest of that green and gray yarn, and I threw it in a dye bath with some burgundy Wilton's food coloring, and I came up with this pretty rosy pink color. And again, I will put the photo, the side by side, and it didn't take 100%. There's some parts that are still grayish, some parts that are still green, but I love that. I love how it looks. I definitely want to use these in something very, very soon, and I already know what. But I got to talk about the next yarn that I overdyed. So also a few months ago I had done, or maybe it was last month, I had done another pair of green socks. They were the pickle juice yarn, the pickle juice colorway from Knit Picks in their stroll yarn, so it's like a neon green. I had some of that left, and I did a thing that I didn't end up liking. I tried making speckles on the yarn, and it's a silly thing that I thought I would try, and I really didn't enjoy doing it. So I didn't end up liking the colored speckles on top of the bright neon green, so I decided to overdye that again using the black Jacquard acid dye. So this is what I came up with. So it almost totally covered up those speckles that I didn't like, and the reason why I didn't like it is because the speckles all came out kind of orangey, and before I overdyed it with the black, it looked very clowny, and I did not like it at all. But with this black, oh my god, I love this so much. Love it. This is the one I want to pair with this. I want to do something funky, and I'm thinking maybe some fingerless mitts, but I want to put these two together and do something really, really funky. I don't know, I think maybe something with slip stitches or cables, or I don't know, but something. These two are going to go together, and I'm going to love it. Let's see, I think, oh no, I had one more thing, and this one I am super, 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 super in love with. I've been wanting to do the gradient, I believe it's called the Gradient Cowl by Joji Locatelli, and so with that in mind, I had bought some yarn off of Etsy. I bought 5 minis. Let's see, what is it called? Beehive House off of Etsy, and she's based, or they're based, I don't know who runs it. They're in the UK, so it's going to take a while for that to get here. beautiful colors. It's a shade of green, a shade of like a yellowy green, a very light blue, and a darker blue, and then there's kind of like a mauvey purple. So those will be the 5 colors, and they're very small minis. Those are going to be the main part of the, you know, the focus of the gradient cowl, but you need 400 or plus yards for the rest of the cowl in sort of a neutrally kind of color. So again, the before and after. Oh my God, I dyed this with using the black and the burgundy, the black acid dye and the burgundy food coloring. And I came up with this yarn, and I love it so much. And oh, it's gonna, I almost don't want to knit with it because it turned out so beautiful. It went from that kind of blah denim-y blue to this purpley bluish black fuchsia, just beautiful yarn. And it's so the depth of color is just so different and all over. Like, it almost looked like it's shiny. Even my son had asked me how I got the yarn to look so shiny, and it's really not. It's just that's the depth of color I was able to get to where it kind of looks like it's got a sheen to it, and I was so pleased with it. Now this yarn is I can't remember the brand name, but it's a bamboo yarn. So it's 50% merino, 50% rayon from, 25% rayon from bamboo, and then 25% nylon. So I wasn't sure how this was going to dye up because food colorings don't normally work real well on the nylon or cellulose fibers, and I think that might be why it ended up being so highly tonal within each layer of color. I don't know. It just looks like it's layers and layers of color, and it was just so easy to do, but it came out so wonderful, and I love it. And I'm just so excited for those yarns to come from Beehive House so that I can get started on that cowl, because I know that I want to knit this as soon as I can. Part of me even wants to just go ahead and start the cowl with this color and then throw in, but I don't know where the pattern starts, if it starts with the minis and then goes to the main color or vice versa. I don't know, but I'm that excited about this. Very excited. But again, please use gloves, because then you have nails that look nasty. So I've been doing a few other things besides knitting. Oh no, I forgot the other thing that I was working on. I've actually got quite a bit to tell you. It's crazy. I did get a lot of work done actually on the 3-color cashmere cowl that I'm doing for the knit along that Joji Locatelli has going on. So this is where I'm at. This is one of the zipper pulls that I'm using as a stitch marker. So that's where I was last week. So I got quite a bit done. I'm about to start the second band of the brown color. So I'm about a quarter of the way done through the cowl. I got a little bit done. I was talking to you all about the socks that I wanted to do with the brown and yellow, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to do 2-row stripes or 4-row stripes, and in the end I decided to go ahead and go with the 4-row stripes, and I'm really loving this. The yellow is Dandelion on Knit Pick Stroll, and the brown color, which I'm surprised, I wasn't expecting the brown to be this tonal, but I'm loving how it looks. But anyway, it's a snug base from Pandia's Jewels, and it was one of 5 mini skeins in the Rogue Color Me Happy kit that she had. It was a kit of 5 50-gram skeins, and they weren't individually labeled. The colors weren't individually labeled, but this was the dark brown that was in that kit. and I'm loving it. So, chucking along, writing my notes down so that I can hopefully make the second sock, because I am winging this pattern. I'm just doing it and writing it down, and hopefully I'll be able to replicate it. I do know that I want something bee-ish somewhere in the sock, so that's why I'm doing the striping. But I wanted to do, like, I do want to do a bee lace pattern somewhere on the leg. So I still got to work that part out, but it's coming along good, and I'm really happy that I chose the 4-row stripes. Yeah, there's that. I did get a little bit of work done on my, actually very, very little work done on my blanket. Like I said, I didn't even think to put some of that pretty gray and green yarn in here, but I should have. Now I'm going to be sad. But I added 2 squares to this. This was the rust color that was in the 2-color socks that I finished last month. See, I don't know why I thought about this color from those socks, but I didn't think about the green and the gray one. I don't know what happened there. And then I put in this really dark red, and this was another yarn that I have no idea where I got this. And I literally had this tiny, tiny ball. I've never used this yarn in anything before. I don't know why I had that tiny little ball just randomly thrown in amongst stuff. So I've never used it for anything. So I guess that's my memory. It's like, hey, look what I found. It actually, I probably shouldn't have put it in here because it's much heavier than the fingering weight yarns. It might have been a sport weight. Like, I didn't know what it was, but I threw it in here anyway, and I think it'll be fine once I put the other squares around it. And other than me feeling that it's a little bit thicker, the size I'm sure works out to be the same, so that's fine. So is this one up here and this one here that I added. It's growing little by little. I'm loving it. I'm super happy. Yay! So a while back, I think I showed you that I had bought myself a drop spindle, and I didn't know what I was doing, and I watched YouTube videos, and I was playing around with it, and I put it away. I made a small itty bitty mini skein of yarn that ended up, and I should have grabbed it, it's over there. Mini skein of yarn that probably is about a DK weight, and it's very like a marled, barber pulled kind of yarn. And I put it away though because I wasn't enjoying spinning because the yarn kept sliding around, and I just couldn't figure out, well, why won't it stay still? I don't understand. And then I watched several videos, and I realized that some drop spindles with a top whirl have a notch in them, and mine didn't have a notch. And I'm like, well, crap. Maybe that'll make it easier, so the yarn doesn't flop all over the place and come off. And I was just having a heck of a time with it. So I contemplated getting another one, getting a whole other spindle, and then I'm like, no, April, I don't want to spend money on another spindle because this isn't my main hobby. This isn't something that I want to do all the time. This is just more of a distraction here and there every now and then. But when I do it, I do want to be able to enjoy the process. So I went in the kitchen and I got a bread knife, and I carved out my own little notch. So here I am, spinning yarn with my ghetto notch. But it's actually going much, much better. I'm much more pleased with it. I'm able to get a rather thin, I don't know if you could see that. I got a rather thin yarn going here. And I know I still have to ply it, but oh, I'm loving how it's coming out. And this was a kit that I got off of Etsy because I don't know what I'm doing when it comes to shopping for spindles and fiber and whatever. But what I got was, I ended up on an Etsy shop called Walnut Farm Designs. And these are basic instructions to spinning with a drop spindle, which I'm a more visual person, so I went to YouTube. And I went to so many different channels and just kind of compiled information. So I don't really have one particular website to refer anybody to, because I was just clicking different ones and kind of took information from that one and information from that one. But it came with fiber that I've already split. It was 4 ounces of 100% organic Polworth combed top. And it was dyed in what they call the Aurora Borealis colorway. And I've already split this entire 4 ounces, this 4 ounce thing, into 16 really long strips. I just kept splitting it thinner and thinner. So I ended up with about 16 really thin strips. So that's what I've been spinning. And I'm not worried about how the colors are going to line up. I don't know. I haven't even thought about plying it yet because I don't know anything about that part. I haven't even considered trying to learn that yet. I'll deal with it when I get there. But I am making a very thin bit of yarn right now, and I'm very excited by that. Like I said, this is more of just a distraction for me, and I'm sorry if any spinners out there are offended by my nonchalance toward spinning with a drop spindle. I just wanted to try it because I watch Rachel from Woolen Spinning, and she just makes me want to spin. She's always got such pretty yarn and pretty things made with her pretty yarn, and I just love watching her, and so it really got me into wanting to do this, but I don't know what the heck I'm doing. And right now I'm just trying to get the feel of doing it. And so I'm doing, I guess it's called the park technique. So I twist it. So basically I'm twisting, and then I'm parking it, and then I'm feeding the I'm drafting is what it's called, drafting the fibers through so that they can pick up this twist that I've just created. So yeah, but now that I have that notch, when I park it, it doesn't go anywhere. So it stays right where it is, and it's working out so much better now that I have gouged out a notch in my spindle. So I'm very happy that it started working out, and this is so far 2 strips, 2 of these strips, and this is the third. I've attached the third, and we'll see where it goes. We'll see what it looks like. It's probably going to be this very loud, gaudy, messy looking yarn, but I'm enjoying just watching the twist go up the fiber and is being thoroughly fascinated by it. But it's not going to be something that I plan on doing consistently. It's just, like I said, a little bit of a distraction in between knitting, or if I just feel like playing with color in a different way. It's kind of like I have coloring books, and I have colored pencils, and I have crayons, and I don't do it all the time, but every now and then I just want to color, but it's not something that I do all the time. It's kind of like a distraction, but it still involves playing with color, which is the part that I love the most. So we'll see what this looks like in the end. And if I end up not really liking this, I figure I can get maybe a J crochet hook and just crochet these and make like a cowl or something. I feel like if I crocheted this, it would work. So I don't know, if I really decide that I don't enjoy doing this, I've got all of these, bunches of these little lengths of fiber, and if I don't enjoy spinning it, I can just grab a wonderful crochet hook and go to town and make myself a cowl. So I don't feel like this is something that's a waste of time at all. It's an experiment for me. It's fun, and if I come to not enjoy it, it's not going to be a waste of money either, because like I said, I can still find a way to use this fiber in something. So I'm pleased about it. I'm happy. I'm enjoying myself, and that's all that matters. You know, I'm not trying to become a master spinner, if that's a thing. I don't know, but you know, I'm very excited, and my phone is not focusing. There it is. Hi. I don't know why I was worried about it though, because that's really about all that I have to say, except for the fact that I have finally caught up with several podcasts. I'm finally caught up and ready to be in the present with those ones. I've caught up with Colorful Creativity by Crawlaline. Love that one. She's so sweet. I really find watching her inspiring. I really like watching her. I just have a couple of more episodes to watch of Little Big Knits. I'm really enjoying her as well. The other one that I got caught up with is Knitting the Stash. She talks a lot about, and I'm sorry, I don't remember. Oh, Melissa. Her name is Melissa. She talks a lot about modifying patterns. I think she's getting into designing and stuff. So, but she talks a lot about how she finds a pattern, she starts knitting it, and then she modifies the heck out of it. So that's really interesting. So I just got caught up with her, really enjoy her podcast. And I finally got caught up with Stitched in Sweden. That one was long. I mean, she's been doing podcasting for a very long time. This is the same with the Snappy Stitches podcast. That she's been doing that for a very long time as well. And I'm still not quite caught up with Snappy Stitches. Working on it. But I'm very excited, because I just got a notification just before I started recording that Kristen Urig just uploaded another video. And she's the one that I talked about way back in the beginning when I first started podcasting. That she paints dot mandalas on rocks and or canvas. So she just uploaded another video where she's painting on a rock. It's really interesting, and it's very relaxing. It's something that I like to watch before bed, and her voice is just so soothing, and she's got all of these colorful little acrylic paints, and she paints these little dots, and pretty soon she's got this beautiful mandala. I love it. It's very relaxing, something that I really get into. I just love it. And speaking of relaxing, there is a channel here on YouTube that I watch, and I feel kind of weird admitting it, but I like watching it. It's a cooking channel, but it's very different in that they're not showing you every single step. You know, they kind of do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, they fade into the next step. You don't hear any talking. It's Japanese, I believe. And they put the quantities, you know, on the screen, but there's no talking, and it tells you at the beginning to turn up your volume, especially if you're using headphones, turn up your volume. And I think I believe they do say it on there that it's an ASMR type of thing where you listen, and it's called Cooking Tree. And I'm not so much into it for the ASMR aspect of it, you know. And if you're not familiar with ASMR, it's more like listening to sounds that some people find soothing. You know, kind of like the ambient noises, like I'll put on like rain sounds or a waterfall to go to sleep. Well, some people like other sounds like crinkling paper or the sound of walking on crunchy snow, and that's kind of what this channel is all about. You know, you hear them stirring the sugar into, you can hear it pouring, you can hear the drips and the drops and everything. The only thing that they do that they kind of minimize the sound of is if they're using the hand mixer or the blender, they do turn that down, but everything else, I mean, you can hear when they're stirring the liquids, and you can hear when they're pouring in things, and I don't really pay so much attention to that, but I don't find it weird either. But I know that other people think, oh, I did mention it to a friend at work, and they're just like, oh, that's strange. But I get that people like listening to some of these sounds. But for me, the reason why I keep going back to that show is because I'm not a baker, I'm not a cook, I'm not a chef. I don't enjoy being in the kitchen at all. But I love watching cooking channels, cooking shows, cooking videos, whatever. And the cakes and desserts that they make, that's mostly what that I've seen them do, is cakes and desserts. But they're just so beautiful. They're just so pretty, and I just can't get over how visually beautiful the videos are. They're real short. They're real short. I don't think I used to have seen anything more than 10 minutes long. I could be wrong, but it's within that ballpark. But everything is just so absolutely beautiful. You know, and then there's the people that really do want to listen to the ASMR aspect of it. So it's really interesting. So I just thought I would mention that one. It's called The Cooking Tree. But that's really all I've been doing. I am so glad that you came to spend some time with me while I ramble on and tell you all my silly secrets. So I am going to go find myself another piece of Double Bubble, and I'm going to watch dot mandalas, and I will see you all next week. I hope that your week is productive and full of smiles, and bye.